We're at Radical Effect in Rock Island. You guys know Rich. Rich, I know one of the things that's very important to you, and one of the reasons that you open this place is to have a safe space for people to learn about all different beers, and a place where no one is judged.
Correct.
That being said, you could make an argument, some have made an argument, that there is a right way and a wrong way to drink certain beers. Now, we're not here to say right way or wrong way, but we are here to give a little bit of information, because this segment is about the thrilling and very sexy topic of
Beer glassware.
glassware. Exactly. Why in the world are there different kinds of glasses?
Well, I think historically the way it started is like every brewery, in their personal opinion, felt that in order to get the true characteristics out of their beer, they had to have a special glass made to help accentuate the flavor profiles and the aroma profiles of the beer that they were producing.
So it's not just a vanity thing. I know the different, you've been overseas and you've been to different breweries where every brewery has their own distinct glass. Part of that is a vanity thing, but really each glass is designed very specifically to get you the characteristics, sometimes even in the order that they want you to experience them.
True. But there's also like a generalized, broad spectrum of, glassware that can cover quite a few different styles just in one type of glass itself.
So let's talk about when you go out to your favorite beer hall, your favorite bar, your favorite restaurant, and you get a craft beer. Usually they'll have one or two choices because, to be honest, it's just not cost effective to have 50 different types of glassware, right?
Well, plus, it's not only not cost effective, but you may not have the room to supply all that either.
The room, for crying out loud, and keeping them clean and all of that. So usually, most places will have two different types of glasses.
Yeah, typically what you're going to see is your pint glass.
That is a pint glass.
And you are going to see your snifter.
A snifter. Why do they call it a snifter, Rich?
For sniffing. It's all the it's
It's
the way that
it is there.
Yeah, it's the way that it's bubbled and then closes towards the top to allow the concentration of aromas to peak right there by your nose.
When you think about drinking, you think about using your mouth, but really the nose is a very important organ when you're drinking.
Very much so.
So this horn is designed in such a way that you get the smell first, and then you get the taste.
Yep. And just like a lot more often you see this style glass associated to like Belgian style beers.
Right.
Because they're very aromatic, and there's a lot of effervescence, and they want to concentrate those aromas at the tip right at your nose versus something like a pint glass where, a mild ale, you don't need to concentrate all that. You really just want to get the gist of it and then just want to start drinking.
So if you're looking to maybe get some glassware for your home to complement the beers that you bring home from your favorite grocery store, what would you recommend people get if they were just going to get like a real basic glassware set?
Basic glassware set, obviously.
I mean, you can use the glasses that you got, at Hardee's when Batman Returns came out, but at some point it's time to grow up.
Yeah, if you really
they're fine glasses. I'm just saying though.
If you want
company over.
If you want to get technical and you really want to start to play around with what different kind of glassware can do for different styles of beers, get online, do your research. There's imperial pint glasses for like English style beers, English IPAs, for instance, or porters and stouts. They were traditionally served.
More often than not, an IPA is going to come in one of these.
Correct.
Right.
Yep.
So if you're an IPA person,
your average ales and lagers in the United States is more than likely going to come in a glass like this.
When you have been overseas, let's talk about the different places that you've been where you've learned a lot about beer. When you went to Europe and the different breweries that you visited.
Belgium was probably the most eccentric when it came to different styles of glass. Every single brewery in Belgium, and there is a lot of them, they have a glass built for their brewery specifically. So it's not like you're going to get a snifter at each Belgian brewery that you visit. You're going to get a specific glass for that brewery and that brewery only. You have your master brewers, you have your master blenders, and then you have your master glass makers.
Yeah, right on.
That's really like trying to capture the true essence of that beer. Of course, probably working with the owners or the brewers of that distillery.
Different styles. Okay, so these are the two that you're going to find most places, and most places are going to have these two styles. But there are some other glasses. Frosty mugs. What's your take on frosty mugs? People that keep their mugs in the freezer. Okay. I thought I'd ask. Frosty mugs, you're doing it wrong because You're watering down your beer first and foremost, right?
Well, that, and you're also masking the flavors that are in that beer.
You don't want your beer to be cold.
You want it to be
Chilled.
chilled,
Not
cold enough.
Right.
I mean, the idea of North American beers anyway, the way that they're introduced to our everyday lives,
Right.
commercial wise. I mean,
An
is
ice cold beer. That's what everyone says.
Yeah,
you
but-
don't want an ice cold beer.
you don't want an ice cold beer. You want a nice cool beer, something that you can enjoy at that very first sip, but 20 minutes later, the difference between the flavor that you were tasting initially and then the taste of the beer later on has opened up, but the temperature of that beer hasn't changed enough that it makes you make that ugh face.
Right.
So like those domestic beers that you get, a lot of people don't finish that last little sip, right?
Right.
It's because as that beer warms up, you're starting to taste it for what it truly is. So
So sometimes that 30 to 33 degree, 34 degree, that's to mask things.
it's ice cold. It's
Right.
numbing. It's numbing your
Now
taste
look,
buds.
if you like mass-produced beers at 34 degrees, that's awesome. Again, that's fantastic.
All the more power to you.
All the power to you. But as far as craft beers go, a frosty mug is a good way to get.
That's a no-no in the craft beer business.
That's
people.
just don't do it.
No,
just
you don't.
don't do it. And glass cleanliness. So let's say I'm at home and I get a kit, I get a pint glass, I get a snifter. How important is it to make sure that there isn't any soap residue, stuff like that in there? That's like vital, right?
Yeah, because I mean, obviously you don't want those flavors to make its way into the beer that you're trying to pick all the flavors and aromas out of.
If you drink a beer and you start blowing bubbles, you have to get your dishwasher looked at. Listen, I don't want to be the one to tell you this, but if you don't hear it from me, a friend who cares about you, who's going to tell you this? Nobody. I know these kids are eating Tide Pods these days. That's another thing you need to stop. Knock it off.
And remember
Quit
this.
eating laundry detergent.
And remember this:
Yes.
clean glass,
Yes.
lacing.
So lacing is very important. This is a good thing that we're seeing
Yeah,
this.
it's a very important thing. It shows you that the glass is clean.
This is a sign of a glass that was cared properly for.
Yep.
This lacing is something that when people judge beers, that's one of the things they go and they look for.
Yep,
So this means everything's going smoothly.
yep. It's a clean glass.
There it is. Know more about your glasses and discover a little bit about yourselves.
Know more about your glasses. Take some online classes.
I like that. I like that a lot. Thanks, Rich.
Try the vanilla porter and cherry.
I'll say yes to anything.
All right.